Alright guys, it is time to have that conversation. I've been wanting to make this video ever since the raid actually came out, but I didn't actually want to properly make it until I had actually completed the raid myself, and my god. After the completion that me and the team got yesterday, I can honestly say that this is probably one of the most fun raids I've had with a raid experience since playing Destiny in a long time. Every encounter just brought something new and exciting, and the final boss at the end was just, it was just a whole thing. So we're going to talk about that right now. First of all, I just want to say a huge thank you to every single one of you guys that have been watching the content recently, and that, the guys that have been coming into my streams. It's been incredible. The amount of like support and love and just great vibes that I'm getting from everyone is honestly fantastic, and it just makes me want to just keep on going and keep on pushing with these videos and all, the content for you guys. So huge shout out and huge thank you to every single one of you that tune into my videos, put up with my stupid face and my dumb voice, and hang out with me during my live streams, because it means a lot. It really does mean a lot. Moving on from that, though, I'm going to be breaking down some points and just some feelings that I've got towards the raid, and I'll be honest with you, it's all positive. I don't have any pain points at all when it comes to this raid. So to begin with, we are going to start with the opening of the raid, and I'm talking from the very moment you hit launch. It's a huge spoiler, by the way, if you haven't completed the main campaign of the Edge of Fate. Huge spoiler ahead, but you literally fly into the singularity. You fly into the very center of the third member of the nine, and that is where the raid takes place. And the moment you land, you immediately get nine vibes. You immediately get, yeah, this is eternity prophecy dungeon vibes. You've got the typical kind of light blue sandy aesthetic with the kind of orangey gold ribbons everywhere, and yeah, it's so cool. It's really good. The actual opening to the raid just blows me away. And immediately you're just like, oh my god, where do I go? What do I do? And your first kind of human instinct is, okay, let's look around. Let's just shoot enemies that will appear, and let's just try and figure out where to go. And eventually you get brought to this spire where you can go up through the middle, and you can kind of choose the direction you go in. And this is where it kind of takes a little bit of a different direction from other raids, because unlike other raids where it's very linear in terms of design, whereby you can you start from A, you get to B sort of thing, you get to choose which encounter you start with. So there were people in the raid that on World's First, which would start on an encounter which would be completely different to a different area that another team started. And then when you look back and forth at other people's streams, you're like, is that second encounter? Is that third encounter? No, it's all just one big encounter. You're just choosing which boss to start with first. And yeah, oh my god, contest mode was definitely difficult. I didn't personally participate in contest mode. I got involved in the raid when normal mode got released, and wow, the guys that actually persevered and got through contest mode, congratulations to every single one of you. That looked absolutely intense. And like the boss mechanics for each encounter, it looks like they're so interesting. Like on paper it looks like the most complex thing. However, when you actually divide the job roles individually to the team that you got with you, it's so unbelievably simple. And I'm not gonna turn this video into how to do a raid guide or anything like that. I'm literally just gonna be giving my opinions. But oh my god, the mechanics are fun, and I'm just gonna very briefly touch over them. So, for example, the boss that actually me and Max started with was the Wyvern, which, in my opinion, is probably the most fun. I know that some people have the Hydra, which is a fun one for them. I know other people had the Hobgoblin. The Hobgoblin was probably the one that I found least exciting. But that isn't to say that it's bad. It was still a fantastic mechanic. But yeah, with the Wyvern, just communication had to be on point. You had to shoot the boxes that were in between the pillars at the exact same time, which helped build the platform for someone to go to the very top, and that activates DPS phase. And the wyverns just everywhere. There's harpies everywhere. The level of harpies in this encounter was just mad, but such good vibes when you do the 3, 2, 1 now, and everyone shoots on now, and you just hear that noises to say, yep, we got that one right, boys, let's keep on going, 3, 2, 1 now. And as you're doing all of that, you've got another team off in the background, like extending the wipe mechanics that we don't wipe. And whilst we're doing that, we've got the climber that's going all the way to the top so we can start DPS phase. It was so good. It was just such a fun and enjoyable mechanic. And when you've got it down, and when everyone knows what they're doing, and when everyone's just fully in sync, it just flows, man. It gets to the point where you just listen out to audio cues and you don't even need to go by what other people are saying, because you just know the moment that you need to chip in and do your bit. And when it all comes together and when it all just flows nicely, it's just so automatic, and it's just getting that boss clear just felt so good. I think after the Wyvern, we had the Hydra, and the Hydra was also an interesting one where you've got to match the patterns and kind of call it out for the opposite team. I think that was really cool. The mechanics of the Hydra, when you get to the middle, where it like designates two random people to shoot the kind of circles that are on the rotating shield of the Hydra, was, oh my god. At first, when that happened, I was like, this is a lot. There's ads, there's DPS, and there's moving parts, and this is like a lot right now. But we got through it, and ultimately, when you get it down, like I said, it just flows. It just flows, and it just feels so good when you get it down. The Hobgoblin, in my opinion, was probably the most difficult one, and that's not to say that it was actually bad. That's just saying that it was probably the one that I struggled most with out of all three of them. But even then, it was still really cool with the dunking mechanic where you kind of go through the coils that are in the middle. It was just such a relief. Like it felt like a raid, and it had those raid mechanics where you kind of looked around, looked at your players, and actually thought to yourself, yes, I am in a raid right now. I am raiding. But it also felt different to any other raid that I've ever played before. And honestly, the last time I ever went into a raid and kind of said to myself, I'm having such a fantastic time, this is just generically such a fun experience, was Scourge of the Past. And that isn't to say that other raids are bad. Not at all. Like, other raids that are a lot more mechanically heavy are still very good raids. It's just this raid specifically, the Desert Perpetual, was just such a breath of fresh air. It was good. And it ties in with the whole thing with the campaign where the 9 are like, basically saying to you that they did all of these things in your life to build up to this moment. Like, this, like, they are your fate. They made your fate. And with the whole Desert Perpetual kind of way that they've designed it, where you can actually choose what direction you go in and what kind of boss you start with first, it's almost like you're kind of saying, no, I actually make my own fate, not you. And I just love kind of just that feel and that tone, and it just works. It just works really well. And then that brings us to final boss, one of the most amazing boss entries I have ever seen, probably since Crota, actually. Crota was insane, and this one was just elevated to a whole different level. The actual sheer scale of this boss and how huge it is it was just like, whoa, kind of moment. You're like kind of seeing it go up, and you're just like, you know what I mean? It was such a great feeling. When me, Max, and the team saw that, it was just honestly mind-blowing. And again, the mechanics of this final boss were so fucking good. It was so good. The reason why I'm not gonna, again, this isn't a raid guide, so I'm not gonna go too in depth as to what the actual mechanics are, but one thing that I absolutely loved so much about the final boss is everyone had to play a part. Whether you were saying which one is the real one, which color is the one that you're going to, shooting the laser, starting DPS, extending damage phase, no matter what role you had, everyone in this final boss had to play a part in order to succeed. And I love that. Because in other raids, you always get that one person that's always on ad clear. And that just, like, is so separate. You know what I mean? Like, you do ad clear in your normal PvE life of Destiny anyway. So when it came to this final boss and just seeing that everyone had a role, everyone contributed, everyone did something which overall led to the end result of completing the final boss. Just so good. Just so good. It was 10 out of 10. I've literally got no complaints. It was just overall such a pleasing raid. It was overall just such a huge breath of fresh air. The aesthetic was great. The color balance was great. The boss encounters were great. The designs were great. The weapons are fantastic. The raid exotic is probably one of the most interesting raid exotics we ever got. And in terms of lore, I've not even dove into that yet. This is definitely not a lore video because I haven't even dove into the lore when it comes to the Desert Perpetual, but I know that Chioma is there. I actually think that Chioma is also voiced by Deborah Wilson in this. There's very similar kind of tones of voice in this. But I also do know that Bungie are working on the reshoots with the original voice actors as well, which will be implemented at some point in the future. But yeah, again, I think one thing that definitely just sums up this raid in a very TLDR kind of in a nutshell vibe is it's a breath of fresh air in all the positive ways. The mechanics were great, like I said. The contribution was fantastic. It's not overly difficult. It's not overly hard. The balance was just so well done. And yeah, honestly, fantastically executed by Bungie. But yeah, guys, that is just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. What didn't you like? What did you like? What stood out to you the most? Did you clear contest mode? I'd love to hear your thoughts and things. But guys, I appreciate all of your time today. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in this world, and take care.